guys, welcome to our 7th episode on ACAST All Day with Jay. So we're featuring a special on Jay Chong, the producer behind Aziatix and the CEO of A-Star this week. So hi Jay.
How you doing, Jamie? Looking great as always.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So Jay, before we get into your background, I have to ask you, how do you feel about this whole Psy Gangnam Style epidemic that's going on?
Well, I think it's great, you know. I'm a personal fan of Psy. I think he's a great guy. I know a lot of people think it's just like a one-hit wonder type of thing. What a lot of people don't realize is that he has a music degree, and he has a huge fan base here. I think he had like 5 or 6 albums out here in Korea, and he has a huge following worldwide. I think U.S. just found out about him, but you know what they say, like it takes like 10 years to make a overnight star.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little different situation in his case, you know. I think Psy, if anything, he's exposed us to the mainstream. So it's not like so foreign to see an Asian face doing music in the U.S. I think that's a great thing. I think that's going to open a lot of new doors for us. So
you think the previous, K-pop acts that tried to make it in the States kind of opened it up for Psy a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think America, not the mainstream, but there's always been that niche market that's been following K-pop. And the thing is, the K-pop has been growing so much so that like the industry people are paying attention to it. And then I think Psy sort of confirmed what was already going on. Like there's a huge fan base. Like fans of Asian music is probably one of the most loyal fan base I've seen. I've grew up in the U.S. I've seen fans of music, but like I haven't seen a fan buy like 5 different versions of the same album, that type of thing, until I moved out here. So I think that's helping the whole process. And I think Psy sort of exposed that to the mainstream world out in the U.S., and which in turn sort of exposed it to the rest of the world.
Right, because he was the one that made the most noise by far from all the other K-pop acts.
Yeah, it was huge. So I think for most people that would otherwise never have interest in Asian music at all, I think they're open to it. They get their eyes and ears sort of like focused on Asian music. Hey, what's going on over there? Yeah. So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so Jay, you're probably the most well-known as a member of Solid in the 90s. And for those of you who don't know, Solid was the first R&B group in Korea. And you guys sold over 4 million records in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And you produced most of their songs too, right?
Yeah. So I've worked as a producer before the group. Initially, I was producing a group called LA Boys, like from Taiwan. And I was, producing a lot of local rap groups and stuff out in LA. And then we started the group Solid out in Korea. And we were like the first, I believe, like Korean Americans that came to Korea, back to the motherland to perform. And so we set a precedence in that way. And I think we also introduced the R&B genre to the masses out here back then. Yeah.
And will there be a Solid comeback later?
Solid comeback. I'm curious. I mean, because most people that listen to Aziatix, a lot of them were born after Solid, or like they were like, still in their diapers then. So I don't know if they even remember. But I think a lot of our families back then are now in their like mid 20s, like approaching their 30s, or even in the mid 30s. I mean, I've been asked that a lot.
A lot of fans actually ask that. So
yeah, I mean, all 3 of us are sort of doing different things. Of course, Kim Jo-han, doing his solo career out here, and then I've been producing like Aziatix and various other artists, and then John from Solid, he's doing like very big real estate ventures out in the U.S. So it's been tough to get everybody together to kind of commit to like a certain period of time. We're working on it though, I think.
Oh, so you are working on it. Yeah, so it might happen.
Yeah, we talked about it many times, and there's been a few incidents where we actually got down to working on some music, and then people were like back to being busy on their own thing. So kind of came and went like that, and it's been like almost, next year is gonna be our 20th year.
Oh my gosh.
Since our debut. Did I just expose how old I am?
Actually, that's a question that fans ask later, but before we get into that, can we talk a little bit more about how you first started off as a singer in Korea? It's
a funny story, because like what happened was when I was producing, like I think LA Boys from Taiwan, they were like the first, I guess, real like signed artists that I started writing for. Of course, I was working with a lot of indie guys before that, and then it was like me, Kim Jo-han, we call him George, and then John Ijun. We used to go into studio, and then I used to write the tracks, and then like George would help them with the harmonies and the singing aspect. And then John would help them with the raps, and then like did some DJ scratching and stuff like that. And then like the producer of LA Boys was like, "Hey, how come you three guys don't put a group together?
Oh, okay.
You guys should try that."
It's very natural, like
yeah.
Aziatix.
So we're like, hey, I mean, we've done music together ever since we were like in 6th grade. But we never considered ourselves a group until then, and then we're like, wow, let's give it a try. And then
you guys exploded in Korea.
Well, actually, like the management in Taiwan they wanted to sign us to Taiwan and then release an album out there. So we were like learning Mandarin and all the stuff for like a few months, and then like in the meantime, somebody from Korea heard about us, and then so they contacted us like right before we were about to sign,
right?
And then we were off to Korea, so came out here back in like 92 or 93.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after Solid, you went over to Taiwan and you helped launch Machi Entertainment, right?
Yeah, that was 2003.
With Jeff Huang.
Yeah, Jeff Huang. Jeff Huang is like the founding member of LA Boys, and he's self-proclaimed national treasure of Taiwan. Self-proclaimed. But he's like one of those guys that just knows everybody. He's very well connected, and and he's been in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. So
you decided to transition into Taiwan because you already knew Jeff, or
yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys were like my hometown friends from back in LA, and it was sort of kind of like for me, it's like being reunited with my homies, I guess, like from my childhood friends. So it was very natural for me to go back.
Okay. And you've always worked, you've worked with many different artists such as Poa, Shina, Coco Lee, JYJ, Melody Young. And you were a very prominent producer in Taiwan, the first Korean American to be nominated for the Best Producer of the Year at the Golden Melody Awards. So, right?
Yes, I mean,
you're like,
guilty as charged.
So what was it like when you were working in Taiwan? Is it very different from the Korean music industry?
It's quite different, actually. I mean, I had my experience here in Korea as an artist and also as a producer. I think Taiwan market, to me, one of the appeals that got me was like the fact that it was very westernized, actually. It was like, like even in the early 90s, the majority of the labels were like major labels, international labels.
Okay.
And then it was sort of like a smaller version of the U.S. In terms of infrastructure and things like that. So it was really easy for me to just get right in there and start working.
Right.
And most people were bilingual. So it was very easy for me. And then, and plus, I had a lot of my friends that moved back out there from L.A. So I felt very at home out there.
And many fans ask, who are some of your favorite artists that you collaborated with?
My
and
favorite.
Why?
Well, I think obviously Nikki. Nikki's one. A guy named Stanley Huang. They're very good friends from back home. The funny thing is, like towards the last few years where I lived in California, I moved to the suburbs of South Orange County, which is like very, very. It looks like Pleasantville, like gated communities. And the thing is, like, that place was like probably the last place you would think like, artists would come out. But we had a lot of artists that came out of that town, including Stanley and Jeff and even Coco Lee. She lived there for a while. And so they're all like friends from back home. And most of my work, I never had a manager or agent that got me.
Not even Solid?
Oh, I'm doing Solid, of course, as an artist, but as a producer, it was always like through word of mouth and kind of like through relationships. And then, most of my friends were artists, so it was kind of easy for me to get connected right away. Yeah.
And when you're working with artists, like what aspect or characteristic makes it easy for you, or do you enjoy working with what type of artists?
I enjoy challenges. So I don't know. Sometimes, like I work with many different artists from different genres, and I enjoy them all, actually. There isn't one particular type that I like.
Because many fans were curious what type of artists you like to work with, or musicians you would like to work with.
I mean, I like to work with guys or girls who are easy to get along with, not too set on their way, you know?
Flexible.
And just kind of, easygoing.
Easygoing people?
Yeah. And the thing is, if they know what style of music they want to do,
That's better?
Yeah, that's better. I think an artist should have some sort of an idea of what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Then it makes it easier. Instead
really?
Of me,
but then wouldn't they be set on that type of music then?
Well, I mean, which is not bad. The worst situation is when an artist has no idea what he wants to do, and you have to kind of like, it's like shot in the dark, you know? It's like a crapshoot, you know? Like, you don't know what they want, and they don't tell you what they want because they don't know what they want. But then they tell you they don't like something, but they don't know what they like, you know, that type of thing. Then that's the hardest, yeah.
And since you've been in the music industry for a very long time, I wanted to ask you what it's really like. Many people think it's glitz and glamour, or a lot of people want to work here for the money. Mm-hmm. And when you look at, you know, artists on TV, it seems like the ones that suddenly made it are rookies, but they've actually been at it for a very long time. Yeah,
I think, I mean, my philosophy about music business is very, very, I guess, different. Mm-hmm. I think every artist and everybody's experiences differ here. There's no standard. You know, people go like, you know, what's the standard for, you know, what's the price of a song, or you know, what's the price of this and that. There's no set standard. Everything is just sort of like up in the air. And then, you know, I think one of the main attractions for the business is that the fact that there's no guarantees, which means an underdog could come up any day and take out the biggest guy. You know, it's sort of an unpredictable game, which makes it very appealing. Somebody could be, you know, like people who you would consider like the least likely to succeed becomes like the number one guy. And I think that's what makes it kind of exciting.
So do you think there's something, maybe that's like, there's an X factor that those underdogs have? Or what is it about these people that just kind of suddenly blow up?
I mean, obviously, you know, when you think of K-pop, you think of like, you know, beautiful guys and girls, you know, doing choreography and all singing great, you know, and dancing and things like that. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, Psy, who kind of breaks all those stereotypes, and he becomes like the number one guy in the world, right?
Which people found refreshing.
Yeah, which is great, you know. And then it's sort of like a breath of fresh air, and kind of seeing like originality sort of take precedence. I think that's great.
Originality.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that goes to show you that there's not
a set formula.
You know, just because, you know, a company's like $1 billion company, they're gonna have a guaranteed hit. No, it's kind of like a fortune teller that can't tell their own fortunes. You know? Yeah, it's sort of like that. You just never know. You know.
And many fans also wanted to know what your vision was for K-pop or just the music industry in general. Where would you like it to go in the next couple of years?
I mean, if I'm talking like global sense, I would like to get Asian music more out there, and be taken more seriously.
And that would be A-pop, right?
Yeah, A-pop is sort of like this, I don't know, term that I thought about. I feel like putting K-pop sort of like limits us, you know, because when you know, people in the Western world, they look at us, they don't know if we're Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. They just look at us as Asians. And I thought categorizing it under one roof was sort of limiting us, and I want to sort of broaden that perspective.
So would Asian pop, A-pop, would Aziatix be the first A-pop group then?
Well, at least under my
under your definition,
my care, I guess, you know. But yeah, you know, like when the whole Latin movement happened back in the late '90s, it wasn't like, hey, Puerto Rican pop, or you know, like, it was more like Latin as a whole, right? I thought that was great, you know. I don't think a lot of people in the Western world realize how many countries are out here, and you know, there's Japan, China, and Korea. And there's like all this countries in the Southeast Asian region, and we're collectively called Asia, you know.
Right.
And I thought it was sort of like a better way to kind of categorize our music for the world, you know.
I agree with you. Okay, and we'll be back from the break with some special guests. So we're back here on ACAST, and we have some special guests with us today.
Who can it be? Who is it this time? You guys again?
So you guys want to say hello to our listeners?
Hi, everybody. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Okay, by the way, that's Aziatix. So let's talk a little bit more about how Aziatix came about.
Aziatix came about? Well, well, before I moved out here to Seoul, like 4 years ago, I mean, I've always wanted to put together a group where we could do international albums. I mean, one thing I realized was, you know, when I traveled all over the world, I realized there's a lot of Asians living abroad, a lot of Asian countries that speak English. kind of like what I talked about in the last ACAST. But I met Flowsick out here in Seoul, of all places. I've been following him on YouTube. I just thought he was like the best rapper I've ever heard. Asian wise. But for real though, I thought Flo, had what it takes, and then and we met out here, and it was sort of, I think it was destiny that we met out here, and then he introduced me to Eddie, who he played ball with, and of course Nikki I knew from back in like '97,
right?
And then we got together and we started vibing off, at the studio, came up with some tracks, and it just everything happened very naturally, and then we met some good people that wanted to put the album out, and we just kind of went one step at a time, and then and just things kept moving.
So what would you say is different about Aziatix or A-Star from other acts or record labels out in Korea?
I mean, first thing is, there's a lot of companies that are geared towards international releases, but to me, for me, it's kind of like a restaurant. It's like I wanted to make a restaurant where people could really taste our colors and food, and I wanted to have a group and artists that could write their own material and have the true colors, and not have that pre-decided by a guy like myself.
And they're all like that. Huh? And Aziatix is like that. So.
Yeah, everybody sort of brings new stuff to the table. And I think that kind of makes them, kind of original in, people's eyes and ears. Right. So, yeah.
And so, Aziatix, what was your first impression of Jay, producer Jay, when you first met him?
I'll go first, I guess. You want to go first? Huh?
You just farted?
No. There's a chair.
Okay.
I saw you guys looking at each other.
Sure?
I was like, what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what about the smell?
Yeah. Well, I had the utmost respect for Chae Young and Solid.
Right.
But I guess my first impression was, he looks kind of like 동네 아저씨.
And that in English for our non-Korean speaking.
Like his neighborhood uncle.
Neighborhood uncle.
Yeah, the guy that just walks around the neighborhood, in his slippers and
mows the lawn.
Yeah.
He said mows the lawn.
Okay. So 동네 아저씨 for Eddie. Nikki, what about you?
Oh man, well I met Jay Brother like back in '97 when he was like 40 pounds lighter.
When he was what?
No, nothing.
Before I met Nikki, and we both gained 50 pounds.
No, but when I first met Jay Brother, I mean, he just came off of his fourth record, and it's like this mega star meeting me at the parking lot of Denny's. So I mean, it was amazing for me. I was like, yo, that's like my idol, and he's listening to me sing. I was very honored, and
what about like personality-wise? Was he like intimidating, or?
I thought he would be, just like listening to other people's stories of like meeting other heads of record companies or other producers and stuff. I thought he would be pretty intimidating and scary, but he was the nicest dude and like the funniest guy. So it was very calming for me. He didn't have that. Hey yo, let me hear you sing now.
Right.
You listen to me. It wasn't like that. It wasn't. He was just like, hey yo, okay. So what kind of music do you do? And just
very friendly,
and it was great.
Yeah, 동네 아저씨.
Easy going, a guy next door,
Yeah. What about you, Flowsick?
I mean, well, before I met Jae Young, long time ago, I was a huge Solid fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Huge Solid fan, and I listened to the music all the time. And the thing was, when I first met Jae Young, I didn't know he was a part of Solid.
Not many do.
And then I found out like after like a week.
I said, yo, Flo, if you don't know, go ask somebody.
I truly did ask somebody. It was shocking, and I was so surprised, and I was so happy and honored to meet him because it was so off guard. I didn't expect that.
Right. And many fans also asked Jay. They wanted to know your first impression of the members.
Oh, of course. I mean, Nikki my first impression I told you on the last
Thank you
from Little Rascal. Flo, I met him, I expected like a real thug,
right.
coming
I think
out of
everyone
Korea,
expects that though.
No, but
Flo.
actually, the funny thing is, I think the first time I looked at Flo's videos, and then actually the thing that really got me to turn to Flo is when I saw his Facebook pages.
Okay.
And then, he was at church with little kids, and I saw him with his nieces and
that
nephews.
Sweetheart inside him.
I think that sort of like showed me, that he's soft. But I mean, seriously, I that kind of showed me like maybe this guy's like a responsible dude,
right?
And he's like a good role model to kids,
right.
And that set a good impression on me,
right? Yeah.
And then I met Eddie. Because Flo brought him in, I was like, "Hey, who's this guy with the long hair, man?" And then I think the first song we recorded was "Another Day."
Yeah.
And then,
really?
Yeah, that's sort of like how we tested Eddie. Yo, Eddie,
sing this.
Go and
remember that.
sing that hook. And he sang it. And I'm like, hey, this guy is pretty good.
Well, the bar was kind of low. He was like, "Can you sing in English?"
But did you know Eddie sang before? Like in Korea, he already had like an album out and stuff, or you just thought he was a kid?
I haven't really kept up with like
right.
a lot of things because entire 2000s I was back in LA, so
right.
I haven't really kept up with a lot of things out here. And then like Eddie gave me 2 of his albums, like 1 album and 1 single. And I was like, wow, you had an album out? Like, wow. And then I looked at his old pictures and he had short hair and he looked like a little kid,
Yeah.
And then now he's this grown man with grown hair. And
so you guys keep saying that you were all a fan of Solid. So what is your favorite Solid song?
There's a bunch. 천생연분, 이 밤을 끝이 잡고, and so many others.
And I heard
끝이
one of
아니길,
you.
끝이 아니길.
끝이 아니기를.
Giddy.
Giddy.
We 모두 giddy.
why you blowing up my spot?
That song was hot.
And I heard one of you can imitate Solid.
Oh, that'd be
right?
Eddie?
Who is that?
Why me? We all could do it. I mean,
Eddie does it the best, though.
Can you?
He's actually done this before on television.
Oh, you gotta show us.
Yeah, but this is a first for ACAST.
Okay, well, I'll try to do it justice. You can judge for yourselves. All right, so.
So anyways.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
You guys give him a beat or something.
No, okay. It's fine. It's fine. 나의 입술이. Oh my goodness, I don't know.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Okay.
That's alright.
Yeah.
And then.
Okay, next question.
이 밤의 끝을 잡고 있는 나의 사랑이 더 이상. Oh my god.
Yeah, alright.
That was good. I can't do it. That's the impression of Aziatix, right? What was that? All right.
Wait, okay, that was good, Eddie. Let's move on now.
All right. So, anyways.
Okay, so you guys had some questions you wanted to ask Jay, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, I know you worked with some artists back in the States too. But as of now, who would be one artist that you would want to work with?
Oh, wow, good question. I would love to work with Drake. Yeah, I think
he's sexy.
Alrighty. I mean, that's not something I could say, but yeah, I think he's a great artist, a great lyricist. I think he's a great artist. Yeah, I think we could come up with some great stuff.
Nice, yeah, for sure.
What about you, Eddie?
Well, maybe Jamie asked this already, but what do you see in the future for Aziatix?
Oh, I didn't ask that yet.
You did?
Oh,
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Future for Aziatix. I believe they're gonna have the planet Earth under their feet, meaning like they'll be they'll set foot on every continent out here, I think.
Oh wow!
And I want them to really go global and really kind of introduce Asian music for the rest of the world.
Right, right.
In a friendly English language, I guess. But and we want to put out some records in Korean and Mandarin as well. I think they have potential to go anywhere. I think the potential is limitless.
Oh, that's so great.
Right? Okay, last question. You work with so many different artists throughout your whole career. Who's your favorite artist?
I already asked that. And he said you were one of them.
Okay, so... so anyways...
Okay, and after the break, we'll be back with some questions from the fans. So we're back here at A-Star Studios. For those of you who don't know, we're taking questions, comments, and requests at Aziatixcast, AZIATIXCAST at gmail.com. So thank you to everyone who wrote in for Jay's special. And actually, your wife, Amy, sent in a question for you.
Really?
She asked if Melody and Alina, your daughters, and Amy, your wife, were drowning in an ocean, who would you save first?
Oh, that's hard.
First, I would save myself.
Okay.
Man, that's not even. Is that even a question you can answer?
Yeah, how do you answer? That's a tough one.
I would say, that's a hard to answer. I would say.
But she also asked, do you like the internet better or do you like me better?
Internet?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. No, of course I love my family.
Actually, fans are very curious about how you met your wife, Amy. They said they want to hear your love story.
My love story? Well, she was out in the States studying English. And we met through mutual friends out in L.A.
Oh, okay.
And then we became really good friends, and, one thing led to another.
Was it love at first sight?
I like to think. I don't know. I don't know what she thought of me, but
yeah.
She was. I think the thing that really got me attracted to her was that I think she was always kind of like always wanting to do the right things all the time.
Ethical.
Ethical. She had ethics, and then and I remember she told me one thing. She said, I will show whatever I say by action, and it was, and you will see by my actions. And I think that kind of pretty much got me. So
is that when that sealed the deal for you? You're like, this is the girl I'm gonna marry.
It was very natural how we met, and then I think it was kind of built on like solid foundation. So I think it was great.
Okay, I was trying to get some like romantic stuff out of you, but it's just not coming out. Okay, so it's a friendship that built over time, a solid friendship.
Yeah.
Okay, and many fans ask, "How old are you, Jay?"
How old am I? I'm old enough to be your uncle, but young enough to be your boyfriend. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm born 1972.
1972.
Yeah, that's probably like close to some of your parents' age, actually. I know I look like I'm 21.
Okay.
But mentally, I think I'm stuck at like 19.
So it has to be.
So Amy from our Aziatix Thailand fan club asked, is it more fun producing than singing? What inspires you when you make music? Because I find your music really inspiring.
To me, I never really liked performing.
You didn't?
To be honest with you. Producing, writing music is sort of my passion. Because I want to do so many different types of music. I think, to me, it's more challenging and it's more fulfilling for me to like work behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what inspires you to make your music?
Everybody says life experiences, and I think that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. A lot of people could write great songs when they're sad and broken. I'm not like that at all. I can't write a single. Yeah, I can't write a single tune when I'm stressed out or having a hard time. When I'm happy, I write the best ballads. Like the sad. I could write the saddest song when I'm happier.
Which is really?
Yeah, and I think happiness and people having the feeling of up and up is when I write like my best material.
What about you guys when you write? Do you have something like that?
Well, any kind of emotion, I guess. When I'm full of like just emotion.
What if you're angry?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That doesn't really help.
When I'm angry, I come up with pretty good angry songs.
And Yana and Aziatix from Indonesia asked, Aziatix, and Jay, if you could collaborate with another K-pop idol group for a day, who would it be?
If we could collab with any K-pop artist, I would say Gina. Oh, that's been done already.
I love that song.
That
What was that
sounds
song
great.
called?
What is the song called?
If I had a...
The things that I'll do to my lover. What was
Something
it
like that.
Things I do to my lover.
do to my lover.
My lover. Is that
do for my lover.
what?
Things that I'll do for my lover. What was it called? The things that I'll do for my lover.
Is that what it's called? I don't even know.
Yeah, Amy something.
Yeah, it's in Korean. I know.
What's it in Korean?
What is it in
I think
Korean?
it's called
애인이
애인이 생기면
하고 싶은 일.
하고 싶은 일. Right.
The things I want to
title.
do when I get a boyfriend or girlfriend.
I thought the song was just called Boyfriend. Well, anyways, that's been done. So who else is out there? I mean, I think Big Bang would be great.
Yeah,
I think that'd be good mixture.
That'd be cool.
I know.
That'd
would
be
want to
crazy.
work with
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, 21 or 21 too. You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Nikki? Who would you want to?
Oh, ditto
collaborate
what J
with?
Brother just said. Big
Oh,
Bang
both?
21, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be real cool. I think something very cool could come out of it.
And what K-pop songs are on your playlist? Yana asked that question too.
you want the truth?
Yes, we want the truth.
I don't have any on my playlist.
Really? There's none?
Let me see.
Maybe Gangnam Style.
No. Oh, actually, you know what? I have 4 Minute.
4 Minute?
Yeah, the first album from 4 Minute on my
Okay.
with music. I think that song was like one of my favorite K-pop songs.
They're 4 minute song. Okay.
4 Minute,
What about you guys? What K-pop songs are on your playlist?
The truth?
Yes, the truth.
I have Sonyeonda's G on my playlist.
Really?
G. Yeah.
G.
That's a good song.
That's a great song.
I
Yeah.
love that song.
It's fun. What about you, Flosik?
Honestly,
21?
Honestly,
I don't have any.
Oh, really? What about you, Eddie? You should have some.
I have probably more than I have most of the recent songs.
Okay.
Like Kara,
So yeah, I got Eddie's
like
CD.
Kara and
Kara.
just all the stuff that's coming out on the radio and stuff these days.
Okay. You have Eddie's CD, you said?
Yeah, no, Eddie gave me a CD a long time ago, and I still have it.
But do you listen to it?
Yeah, I mean, not anymore. I did listen to it.
And Anya from Indonesia asked, if you could choose a K-pop artist to become part of the A-Star family, who would you choose and why?
I would say Psy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
I think
Crazy.
yeah, man, that'd be great. Could go, have some makgeolli every night.
And she said, say one day you and Amy, your wife, have to go overseas and you cannot take your kids, Melody and Alina, with you. And there's no one else to babysit them. Who would you trust from Aziatix to babysit them while you're gone?
Oh, I would say Nikki.
That came out right away.
Right away.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because, I don't know. I mean, he's good with kids. I mean, they're all good with kids, but, like, for instance, Eddie, the kids will be walking around the house and he'll be passed out on the couch. Right? And then, Flo, like, he won't wake up till, like, 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
They're
Starve
starving.
the kids in the morning. Yeah. And Nikki, there's going to be plenty of food at the house. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki. I think I would pick Nikki too. And Carrie from Texas asked, who is your favorite singer?
Favorite singer? I don't know about favorite singer, but my favorite group of all time is Van Halen.
Van Halen? I don't know.
Did you say Van Halen? I don't know that. That's like the vampire movie. No. Van Halen. Van Halen. Well, they're like a rock band from the late 70s.
Okay.
They're kind of like my inspiration to start music and a lot of different things. And I still go to their concerts whenever they get together to perform.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And my Sarah Moyd asked, how does it feel when taking care of Aziatix? You seem like a daddy to them.
Well, sometimes, they pee and poop everywhere. Gotta change their diapers, sometimes I'm playing zookeeper, but they're good guys, they got good heart, and then relatively low maintenance, We don't have to have, managers like, tying them down into bunker beds and.
Yeah, I don't think they're high maintenance.
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
they're well-behaved guys.
Yeah.
They're pretty chilled.
Did you fall? That was the chair.
We get some WD-40 for these chairs.
And Jenna asked, will you be producing more Korean American groups, or will you be going with traditional K-pop groups from now on?
I'll be doing both. I don't want to limit anything. Right. Next artist actually that we're working on is a female for the Korean local market actually, and it's very interesting how things are turning out. She's very good, very good vocalist. I think there's a lot of talent out here in Korea, which is great. I've seen a lot of great talent out in the States, but here the kids are kind of like really, really, really into the music thing out here. Like they would literally eat, sleep, and do music.
Desperate.
That's all they do. Like in America, most kids have jobs. Like they got day jobs. They got to pay bills and things like that. Here, they live with their mom and dad. All they do is eat, sleep, and do music, right? And I think there's a lot of talent out here, and so I think I'm trying to keep things open for both sides.
Would you want Alina or Melody to grow up to be an artist?
Only if they want to. I wouldn't want to force them.
So if they wanted to, you'd be all for it, though. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. I think if they want to be doctors or lawyers, there's so much I could do to help them. I can't help them with their homework. But I think if they want to get into entertainment, I could sort of guide them into the right direction if they choose to. Right.
And I think Alina, since she's so pretty and tall, you already have that set. Huh? You don't have to do plastic surgery on her.
Oh, I'm absolutely against plastic surgery, by the way. I put that on the record, and I think I've expressed that on my
I didn't know
my
that.
Facebook and Twitter many times.
I didn't know you were against it totally.
I mean, I don't mind people becoming happier with it, but I feel like
doing it too much.
do it with moderation. Everything with moderation.
Okay, so thank you guys for your questions, and we will be back after the break. So Jay, before we wrap up your special, I wanted to ask you, what is your advice for any aspiring musicians out there, or to anyone who is trying to pursue their dreams at the moment?
Well, of course, persistence is important, but always have a backup plan. I know a lot of people go, hey, if you want to pursue something, make sure you book a one-way ticket, which, sometimes, that's the sound advice for certain cases, but it's always good to, finish school.
Right.
Like, if you're 15 years old, don't give up school to pursue music, or you could, but, don't tell them I did, it's got to be real, and just be prepared when you get the opportunity, meaning, get your demo tape, get your video, all that stuff ready before you approach somebody. Hey, can you help me with the record deal? And, if I go like, can I hear something?
You have to have it right there.
Yeah, don't go, oh, can I sing for you right now?
Right.
There's limitations to that. I think, you should get your music together, be prepared in case you have your opportunity.
Right. That's great advice. Did you hear that, everybody? And is there anything else you want to say to our listeners out there who tune in every other week with us?
Oh, thank you always for supporting Aziatix and A-Star. We're going to have a lot of big things happen in the near future. I know you guys are thinking like, hey, what's going on with these guys? These guys are really right now in the middle of a very big thing.
Right.
I can't really discuss that at the moment. You always say big things, but it'll be revealed very soon.
Yes, it will.
So keep tuning in to Future Acast and keep loving Aziatix.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aziatix.
Thank you for having us every week.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, Aziatix all day. Thank you. We love you.